Back in 2022, I purchased this, an Epiphone inspired by ES335. I've modified it a bit. Vibramate adapter, Bigsby tremolo system, Vibramate spoiler, as well as some Kluson locking tuners. I gigged with this for a couple of years, and in the fall of 2024, I graduated to a real Gibson ES335. And I toyed around with the idea of selling this, but it played really nicely. And I thought if I was going to part ways with it, I would probably get something like a Gretsch, which, you know, something would have a Bigsby. Well, it's kind of the same wheelhouse as the guitar I already owned. So I decided to go a different route and put a set of Seymour Duncan Psyclones in here. Before I go any further, this is the typical YouTuber plug. If you like this channel, please hit the subscribe button. The bell icon will let you know when I put up a new video. And I've got over 97, 98% of the viewers that check this page out aren't subscribers. If you want me to keep showing up in your feed on a regular basis, the way the YouTube algorithm does everything, it'd be great if you could hit the subscribe button. You'll be sure not to miss out on any future videos. And if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. And if you want to share it, there's a button for that as well. Also, for full disclaimer, these pickups I paid for myself a while back. They've been in this guitar for a while, so there's not that typical YouTuber, you know, oh, I got something new and it's the best thing ever because it's in the honeymoon phase. These have been in this guitar for quite a while, and I've gotten to know these pickups in this guitar, so this isn't just the honeymoon phase of a new product. And I've paid for these myself. Seymour Duncan doesn't have any affiliation with this video, and nor does any of the other manufacturers that I'm going to make mention of. Back to the pickups though. I had Adam at AF Precision Setups do the install, and we kept the stock wiring harness because it had no issues. After everything was installed and the guitar was all strung up and plugged in, and we tried it out with one of the Fender amps in his shop, and everything sounded good. There were no hum, no pops or buzzes or anything like that. But it wasn't very Gretschy to our ears. It didn't sound bad. It actually sounded really great. It just really wasn't what we expected sound-wise. Now, first of all, I'm not Chet Atkins or Brian Setzer or Eddie Cochran. I know that. I don't. But I did kind of expect a bit more twang out of these, but my expectations of these were really off. However, I think these sound fantastic. They're kind of a blend of Tele meets PAF. The highs are very well defined and clear. There's plenty of bottom end present as well too. The mid-range is a bit lower, but when you're pushing the mid-range on an amp or maybe have a mid-forward drive pedal like a Tube Screamer, that could really benefit a certain kind of player. Okay, so how was I off on these things? I was really kind of at a loss of why I really liked these, but they didn't sound what we expected. Well, back in the day when there were just single coil pickups, Fender had their Broadcaster, Telecaster, Esquire type guitars with their pickup. And that was kind of one of the new standards in guitar pickups. And over at Gibson, the P90 was their go-to pickup until Seth Lover came up with their PAF, their premier and humbucking pickup. And around the same time at Gretsch, Ray Butts was developing the Filter'Tron. And I gotta tell you, Keith Williams of 5 Watt World did a video on Gretsch guitars as well as a video deep diving into the Filter'Tron pickup, both of which are a great resource to the Gretsch sound. I'm going to put links for those videos in below so you can check those out if you really want to go down the rabbit hole. But there's some more nerdiness here as far as that goes. Also, there are a lot of players that are very well versed in vintage pickups. They've kind of noted that the 50s Tele pickups and the 50s PAFs, well, they do share a lot of the similar character. And my only proof is the thought process they've had for many years. And perfect example is so many people thought Jimmy Page played a Les Paul in the first, and a lot of the early Led Zeppelin records, and as well as the classic Stairway to Heaven solo. Well, actually, we all know now it was a Tele. So I can kind of get behind with the idea of a vintage Tele pickup having a bit of a character of a vintage PAF style pickup. And it kind of makes sense around that time that when the Filter'Tron was being developed by Gretsch, that they were kind of incorporating what the current sound was and trying to get that single coil sound without the hum. And it seemed like that Gretsch did it on their own. And from what I understand, when the Filter'Tron came out and Gibson had the PAF come out, they pretty much stayed away from each other as far as infringement, any sort of like cease and desist on the pickup. They're very similar. They do the same thing, but they never really went after each other in a court of law over it. They probably could have, but they didn't out of from what I understand, a gentleman's agreement. But it also shows the fact that the Filter'Tron does kind of capture a lot of what the players of the day were looking for. They wanted a big, clear single coil tone without all the hum, and that's what came out of this. I have to say, I really like these overall. I'm miles away from Stray Cats and Chet Atkins. I did happen to realize, though, as I was going through and really getting to know these pickups and figuring out what they do very well, Malcolm Young of AC/DC uses a set of Filter'Trons, or used a set of Filter'Trons in all those classic AC/DC records. Billy Duffy of The Cult also favored Gretsch guitars, and I'm hearing a lot of those rhythm parts that he did really had that clarity and definition, but it was quite full. And that's something that is really kind of a surprise to think of a Filter'Tron is giving you that type of thing. It's just kind of a little out there, but when you start going through it, yeah, that makes sense. That's the best way I can kind of translate what I've noticed. It's that blend of Tele articulation and PAF richness. If I do a gig that might require me to bring a Tele, I might go with this instead, especially if there's other humbucking songs in the set list. And, unless there's a certain song that really, really needs a Tele. I've liked these so much, I've even debated putting a set into my Gibson ES335 in the future. I'm really teetering on it. I really like the calibrated T-types pickups in there. now. But these really do make a very good case for a pickup swap. For players that have a twin humbucking guitar and they're looking for that blend, these would be great, especially if you're bringing two guitars to gigs. Anything with twin humbuckers would be as a backup, something to mix things up with maybe what the other guitar player in your band is doing. Really bring some new tones to the table without really stepping out of what I would call a very good comfort zone. Another place I think the bridge pickup on this would really stand out is for players with like super strats that have like the single hum pickup setup. That would be a really great way of adding the fullness of a PAF while maintaining some of that tonal focus of a single coil. I know a lot of players that get a hold of a humbucker and they put it in their Strat, and it seems like they're two separate guitars. Sometimes the single coils don't blend well with the humbuckers, and it's really the balance of across the pickups is sometimes a little off. And I think one of these in the bridge pickup would really complement the single coils while not overpowering them, and the brightness in this hum canceling pickup would kind of maintain that clarity that a Strat really does work well with. Anyways, that's my thought on these pickups. I really think that these might be getting overlooked because of the Gretsch angle of marketing that might be coming out for these, but they're really a very unique pickup set, and I didn't expect them to sound like this or that I would like these that much. I've got some sound samples in there you can check out as well. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys have installed a set of these. I'd love to hear from you guys. What guitar do you put them in? How are you using them? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. Anyways, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Take care.